When pruning basil, you're going to want to trim it below the second node. You want to make sure that the top node has at least 4 to 5 leaves. Thyme can grow very quickly and you will need to trim lots around the bottom and the top. You want to make sure that you leave spaces in between the plants so that they all have room to grow, and the bottom leaves can get the light from the grow lights. With dill, you want to prune the outer stems at the bottom, and if you are going to trim some on the top, you must leave leaves on it or they will not continue to grow. Parsley is very similar to dill. You want to trim around the bottom part to get as close to the bottom of the plant as possible. Again, if you do trim the top, make sure you leave leaves on it so that it continues to grow. To prepare the basil cuttings to place in water to grow roots to create new plants, you're going to want to remove the leaves from the second node. Make sure that you leave enough stem to fit in the water. You're going to want to use a shallow water bowl. And when you do this, you're going to want to change the water frequently. I had this floor lamp that I never used, so I went to Home Depot and I found grow lights to use in it to place in my herb garden area. For the dill that I cut off my AeroGarden, I'm going to go ahead and dry that. So I'm just going to get some twine and I'm going to tie the ends of it and then hang it up in a warm, dry area. According to Ray Drummond's blog, thyme is considered a hard herb, so you're going to want to wet a paper towel, open it up and place the thyme in it, cover it, and then place it in a sealed plastic bag. Keeping the towel wet, you should be able to keep this herb fresh for about 2 weeks. According to Ray Drummond, basil, parsley, and mint are tender herbs, so she recommends putting them in a mason jar with about 1 inch of water, and then you can either cover it with the lid, or if you don't have the lid, you can cover it with a plastic bag. Then you can store it in the fridge or on the counter if it's basil for about 2 weeks. For some leftover basil leaves, I just store them in a bag in the fridge for a recipe I'm going to use later. Jar Jar just wanted to say hi, but he was too hyper. But my little Jabba, he just wanted to stick around and be petted and loved. So it's been about 5 days, and as you can see, there's no root growth yet on my cuttings. So we'll keep checking back. It's been about 10 days since my original pruning, and as you can see, my AeroGarden is starting to look overgrown again. And looking at the cuttings, there's a few tiny roots at the bottom of a few of the stems. It's now been a total of 20 days, and I'm going to be needing to prune my AeroGarden again. So let's take a look at my clippings. As you can see, there is extensive root growth, and I am ready to plant. You want to start planting these a couple inches from the edge of the planter and then a couple inches apart from one another to allow for significant growth. Don't forget to water after planting. I'm going to go ahead and put my planter underneath my grow lights. I'm going to go ahead and prune some more basil to create new plants that I'm going to share with family and friends. Same idea, go ahead and cut it below the second node. Remove the leaves from the second node and leave the long stem to place in the shallow bowl of water. Make sure you change the water frequently. I'm going to go ahead now and trim the rest of my AeroGarden with parsley. Trim at the bottom. Don't forget to leave leaves at the top. For thyme, you're going to want to trim it thinner and shorten it. For mint, you're going to want to cut toward the bottom of the plant. And for dill, you're going to want to cut the outside stems, leaving some leaves on it if you trim the top. With all the trimmings that I did, I'm going to go ahead and air dry all of them. So I'm just going to tie the bunches together and then hang all of them in a dry, warm area. For my basil leaves, I'm just going to put them on a flat surface to dry out.